southern England.
Well, let's talk to international economist Vicky Pryce. Great to have you back on the programme, Vicky. So UK inflation rising, but less fast than it was. What do today's figures mean?
I think it's good news. It means that perhaps we're not going to see the type of inflation which had been forecast just a few months ago, when, of course, there wasn't support from the government to keep electricity prices down. Now there is, even though those prices have gone up. Whether we like it or not, we've seen this spike happening in October and then a freeze. This is why the October data was so high. We had over 11% inflation in the UK. Well, when you look at the November data, then it inevitably comes down because we haven't had another increase in electricity prices that people are paying at the household level. Of course, a lot depends on energy for the future. That's good news that energy prices overall internationally are going down, and petrol at the pumps has been going down as well. It's been so obvious to anyone travelling around the UK, assuming they can travel, because we've had some very bad weather in the last day or so. So it's good news overall that we're seeing this reduction happening, but there are aspects of the overall picture which are worrying, such as the food prices. You've been talking about turkeys there, but food price inflation continues to rise, even though it's not rising quite at the rate it was rising a little while ago. So we've still got an issue there in terms of how long that upward trend may still be there, and whether indeed this is the end of the increases that we have seen over the last few months.
So let's talk a bit more about those food prices then. What does this kind of inflation do to people? How do people cope with these rising food costs, among other things?
I think this is a problem not just in the UK, but also internationally, because, of course, energy and food prices matter a lot for anyone who is at the lower end, if you like, of the income scale, because a larger percentage of their pay or whatever it is that they get from the state goes into essentials, and those essentials are energy, keeping yourself warm, and food. So it hits people particularly who depend a lot on those items, and the issue for them is, of course, what alternative is there? What we've seen in the UK, which is really quite interesting, is that discount supermarkets, or those that certainly don't charge as much as perhaps some of the bigger supermarkets, the big German ones like Aldi and Lidl, have done very well because they have been attracting customers by keeping the prices quite low. So you see a lot of competition taking place, but overall it suggests that the prices that most people pay, the retail price index, if you like, which is rising faster than just the CPI, the consumer price index, is affecting people, particularly in the middle and lower income bracket, and that's a serious problem for the future. Where will they find the money for Christmas, for example? Where will they find the money for next year as well? And that's why the economy is slowing down, because we're seeing a very substantial drop in real disposable incomes taking place this year and likely to continue next year.
So the figures out today might suggest that inflation in the UK has peaked. Is it too early to say that?
No, I think it is peaking in other countries as well. So I'm suggesting, therefore, that if you just look at those prices, the international environment has changed such a way that maybe we're seeing a plateauing taking place. One small thing about the UK, which is that there is another increase which is expected in energy bills for households coming in April. We might see another little spike. But overall, I think if you start comparing where we are now with a year ago, as some of the earlier costs of the invasion into Ukraine by Russia, stop having the impact that they had originally in terms of encouraging prices to go up very significantly for a while. Once that disappears, we can see inflation, in fact, dropping quite quickly.
Vicky Pryce, great to get your thoughts today. Thank you.